Y'all. What up? Oh man, I got some technology's been acting weird today, yo. It's been really acting off. I don't know, I woke up, my phone was acting weird. My phone was like shaky, trying to transfer files. And that's the thing about doing this, man. When you doing all of this content creating, you got to deal with a bunch of files and videos and all types of shit. You're just like, Jesus Christ. We're working for free. This is a lot. This is a lot of work. I'm not gonna lie. This is just, I mean, this is why those content creators get like teams. They get teams of people who edit and create for them. Well, not really create for, I mean, they help them create, but just doing this content stuff is just annoying. Jesus Christ. It's just free slave work. It really is, man. Just trying to transfer these goddamn files, and it's like, you don't have enough space. It's like, what the freak? You delete a bunch of stuff, and then you don't. It's just weird. You delete it, but it's not really deleted. There's a ghost version of it on the computer. And you're like, where's the ghost version? Anyway, I've been watching a lot of movies. I was off yesterday and today, and I was watching a lot of movies, and I had this idea to write down some of the movie villains I thought were right. Got the homies in there. What up? What up, D? What up, homie? It's a lot of work. Yeah, it is a lot of work. Editing. Yeah. This whole shit is a lot of work. Just editing, getting lights. I had to buy lights and shit. Like, yo, you got to create a vibe, create an environment. You're like, dude, I just want the thing. But anyway, I had this idea. I wrote down a bunch of villains that I thought in movies that were right. Like, for example, I watched Creed 3 and I watched Rocky 3 back to back, right? And it's basically the same movie. Because in Rocky 3, Stallone, he's reached his height. He's got his cars, the house, the lady, his wife and kid. And then Clubber Lang comes through, which, by the way, if you haven't seen Rocky 3, Clubber Lang, Mr. T, top notch, top of the top when it comes to villains. Clubber Lang, yo, you got to see it. He has so much aggression. You're like, I want this guy to win. But then let me get to the point. I feel like since he was the villain in the movie, I feel like he should have won because Rocky was gonna retire anyway. He was gonna leave. And then Mr. T comes up. Mr. T was at a rally like, hey boy. he was like, he talked to Rocky's girl, was like, hey, you wanna get with a real man? And then Rocky ran up on him. But it's like, I feel like when Clubber Lang whooped his ass, his trainer died, he should have just said, you know what, I'm out. I'm done. I'm done with this shit. But no, Rocky was like, nah, I'm coming back. I'm gonna go train with black people and I'm coming back to bust your ass. And then he won. But then in Creed 3, that was his homie, Damien. That was his boy. He was the one that was the boxer. He got locked up on some BS for what, homeboy did. And then he tries to get the title. Well, I mean, let's be honest. He got it. He got it his own way. But fucking Creed came through and whooped his ass at the end. It's like, dude, he got it. Let him have it. You are going to leave once again. Anyway, your daughter's deaf. Your wife, she can't hear shit. She's doing music. Just chill. But no. I feel like those cats should have won, honestly. I think they should have got the championship. But I don't know why that kicked in now. Let's see. Hello, you look like... What? Man, y'all in the comments be on some wild shit, yo. I'm not gonna even say what that person just said. Let's see, what other villain I thought? The Wicked Witch of the West. I think the Wicked Witch of the West was right. She just wanted her sister's shoes, and that's it. She was like, hey, that's when I get my sister's shoes back. But then this tourist from Kansas shows up, and she's like, no, I gotta get back home and click these things. And it's like, no, just give her the shoes back. You dropped the house on her sister. And then they put water on this chick and then she evaporates. So I don't know. I feel like the Wicked Witch of the West. Who else, man? I think the federal government in ET. I feel like the federal government in ET was right. Because the thing is, as a kid, you watching the movie ET, and you're like, oh snap, this kid he shared a Reese's Pieces with this alien, they're friends. Oh snap. And then the government is like, yo, we gotta contain this. What the hell? We gotta contain whatever the hell that was. They might have an intergalactic disease, but no, we were all like, leave that white boy alone. And he's got a flying bike. The kid's a goddamn felon, okay? He's a felon. He's a felon on a flying bike with some weird looking alien with a finger that looks like an antenna. Get him. Like, as I got older, I said get him. But as a kid, I was like, that's wrong. The government is like, no. Get E.T., get his ass out of here. Hey, one or something. You wild. Who else, man? All right, another villain I thought had a good point, which I kind of saw this a little bit later because I've watched the movie a bunch of times and it's always dope. The Matrix, right? I feel like Agent Smith in some way, agents, like when you watch the movie, you're like, oh, this dude is like really running after these folks and doing all this wild shit. But then you watch it and you realize that the Matrix is just a big ass simulator, right? And Agent Smith, I think, is just an IT professional and he's just trying to clear the damn server. But he can't because you got Neo and Morpheus roundhouse kicking and blowing up buildings and just just destroying shit. Like, I didn't think about this until I rewatched Agent Smith do that speech, and he didn't talk about humans like they were mammals. He was talking about humans like they were. He calls them viruses. He calls us viruses in the movie. And I was sitting there like, he's just doing his job right now, and he's getting shot in the face and roundhouse kicked throughout the whole movie. And then he ends up giving up and just giving over to the Matrix. I mean, giving over to it and just starts, making clones of himself and all of that. But I feel like in the beginning, he's just like, I'm just trying to do my job. What is all of this bullshit? They got helicopters, they can dodge bullets. When did they do that? When did they start doing that shit? I feel like Mr. Smith was just like, God damn it, these freaking humans and their emotions hopping around on buildings. It's like it was a big ass daycare center, and he's just like, could y'all just sit down somewhere? What the? God damn, delete him. Delete him now. Agent Smith. The Matrix really took a dip, didn't it? Damn. The Matrix really 1, 2, 3, and then the very, very last one was like a big disappointment. I was like, what the is going on here, man? I really wanted that last Matrix movie to be dope, but did somebody ask me who is my favorite singer? Who's my favorite singer? I don't know. That's a weird one. No, it's not really a weird one. That's like layered. I don't know. I have a lot of folks that I listen to. Favorite singer. Off top, I can think of her. She's a good singer. I like her. I like D'Angelo. He's a good vibe. The new Jill Scott is fly too. The new Jill Scott album, from what I've heard, a lot of good stuff on the new Jill Scott album. It feels like warm laundry. Like you listen to it and you're like, ooh, oh man, I want to make my own cocoa butter. Like you listen to Jill Scott, you're like, oh, damn. I think none of us can really get over Jill Scott singing about breakfast. It's, man, dude, if you don't know what I'm talking about, you better go check out Jill Scott singing about breakfast. When she said 2 scrambled eggs. It's Jill Scott. And there's a lot of singers from other genres I like too. I just can't think of them right now. What else? What other villains? I mean, I think we all think Thanos in some way from the Avengers. series was right. I mean, he just saw a universal housing crisis, and then he just proposed a lottery, which was kind of brutal. But I mean, I feel like if you go to Sakar now, that planet, I bet they had no traffic. Who else? Killmonger from Killmonger from Black Panther was an interesting character. Killmonger was interesting because I feel like a lot of us are on the superhero villain mindset that we grew up on. The villain is bad, the hero is great, root for the hero. But then now I feel like film is changed to where you see the villain's perspective and also the hero's perspective, and now you have to make a decision, and it makes you feel a certain way. And I think that when you watch Black Panther in that movie, it did that to me because I walked into Black Panther like, yo, let's see what's up. T'Challa's about to mess it up. And then you see Killmonger and you're like, ooh, he has a good point. Ugh. Am I a villain? Am I a villain? You start to think about yourself like, am I evil? Jesus Christ. And the thing is, I think they messed up Killmonger at the very end when it was like world domination. They really like pushed the over the top villain thing. But all in all, I think he was right also. I feel like, they killed his pops, left him in the house, and then they just left him. Nobody said anything. They killed him and they flew off in a weird spaceship. And he's just like, where's my dad at? And then, black people going through whatever they're going through, and then Wakanda has got the new technology. He came over and he's like, yo, y'all sitting pretty in this mug. What the fuck? Let's see, what else, man? I think that's it. I wrote down Violet from Willy Wonka's Chocolate Factory. She talked she talked about, like eating experimental candies and shit, and then they just kept eating it, and then people were dying and shit. So I don't know. I feel like there's a lot of villains, if we look back at movies, that were right. Like a lot of villains, like if you break down a lot of villains back in the day, they were either doing something and then life and the world kind of crushed them, and they just was like, fuck it, I'm just gonna take it. Why am I, what is that? Oh, what is that movie? With something Douglas. Falling Down. Falling Down is a movie, yo. That is a dude that's just trying to get home after a crazy day at work. He's in traffic, and he just starts whooping people's asses and shooting people. Like, that's one of those movies where you're like, I get it. I get it. Tupac singer. Have you watched any anime or anime movies? Have I watched any anime or animated movies? Anime. I watched what was that joint? I watched the Dragon Ball Z Broly joint, and that was fire. Like that was Dragon Ball Z. The Broly movie was so dope because the thing is they compressed a good story in the beginning so you understood what was happening, and then it was just fighting. Just Goku, Vegeta trying to beat Broly getting madder and madder. They're breaking the fabric of space and time, going through lava, ice. It was that shit was crazy. That was a goddamn event. And then I watched the other Dragon Ball Z movie where they had like the super androids, and that's when Piccolo was doing his thing. He turned orange and whatnot. And then any other animes? I started watching a little bit of Cowboy Bebop because a lot of people recommended that to me. I'm not heavy in the anime world, but I'll take any recommendations. I'll watch anime. What was that other joint? There's been a few like old school animes that I kind of checked into, and I was just like, the way they drew these, the detail is like, is beautiful. In Cowboy Bebop, I was watching like the first episode of it and or the first parts of it, and it was just like there's a lot of layers in between the action, and there's a lot of little story elements that I feel like you will miss if you don't really pay attention to it. So so yeah, I watched a little bit of Cowboy Bebop. Uh any other animated cartoon type stuff? I mean, I like Pixar things, but you know, I mean, Pixar, Pixar make you sad. You watch too much Pixar, and you'll start reflecting. You'll be looking at the wall in your ceiling fan for a couple of hours, like, "Oh, what is life?" So try not to watch too much Pixar, but I definitely want to check out some more on Naruto. I've heard a lot about the Jujutsu. Demon Slayer. I heard about Demon Slayer. Didn't the movie drop? Didn't a Demon Slayer movie drop recently, or something like that? I got to get into those. Um, what's that joint with the big giant motherfuckers, and then people trying to keep them outside with the gates, and then people they jump on them with these cables and rip their arms off and shit. Do you like penguins? I don't know. Like the animal, like like in the zoo and shit. I got to check out Naruto because I've heard a lot about that. When I see like the logos and symbols everywhere. Jujutsu. Haven't seen that one. Penguin, it's a bird. It's Demon Slayer, Infinite the Castle Arc. Ah, I gotta check that out then. Yeah, Demon Slayer. Yeah, I'm gonna write that now. I'm gonna check that out because a lot of folks have talked about that, and I've heard people recommend it. Um, I gotta check that joint out. I heard Dragon Ball Z they're doing a season two. It's just like Dragon Ball Z feels like an impossible thing to catch up on. I remember like in high school when people were talking about watching Dragon Ball Z, and then I remember like checking in, like, let me check this out. And it was just like episode 100 and something. I was like, God damn. I was like, I need to catch up. Where's episode one at? But I've never been able to catch up to Dragon Ball Z. I've always felt like behind the eight ball on that. One Punch Man was something that I really watched. I really got into. One Punch Man was pretty dope. Such an interesting concept. Some dude that just did a bunch of push-ups and got strong as shit. This Demon Slayer. My favorite Demon Slayer character is Mr. I gotta check out who the hell that is. That sounds yeah, I gotta check out Demon Slayer. God damn it. What other stuff I want to check out? I feel like this year's gonna be a lot of dope movies. Any animes that are coming out that you guys like? Favorite character in Dragon Ball Z? Yeah. Don't want season 3. It's trash. You know what? It's funny. I didn't watch season 3 of One Punch Man. I watched the first 2, and then I kind of fell off. I got busy doing other things. But you say season 3 is trash. I will not watch that. I say, what's your favorite Dragon Ball Z character? Honestly, Dragon Ball Z favorite character. I feel like a lot of people say Goku because he's that guy, but I like Vegeta. I don't know. It's like I feel like he went through I feel like from what I've watched, like the pieces of Dragon Ball Z that I've watched, I feel like Vegeta has this arc where he was like an evil prince type dude because he came from royalty, and then he went through so much, and then he starts to like change as a person. Like he goes through, but he trains so hard to become the best. You know what I mean? This is just from what I've seen about Vegeta. So, and then he's kind of jealous of Kakarot because he's like, he feels like he has it naturally, or he just, he's happy go lucky all the time, and he's just like, yo, life is hard, bro. What are you talking about? Like, I feel like Goku a lot of times when I see him, he's just like, hey man, you wanna fight? Yeah, let's get some beams and let's find these balls and get the fucking dragon. He's just like, hey. You know those people in life that are just like happy-go-lucky, and you're like, dude, life is not happy. It's dark in this mother, and you just want to put darkness in their heart. And I feel like Vegeta is that dude. He's just like, yo, I work hard, play hard. And then Goku's like, hey man, let's get some ice cream. He said, man, fuck ice cream. Let's get some goddamn working out in. Let's go to this goddamn chamber where shit is heavy, where the gravity is 1,000,000,000. Death Note. Ooh, Death Note. Death Note. I haven't heard of that one. No, wait a minute. Death Note, Death Note, Death Note. I think I went to a Comic-Con one time and some people were dressed from like as characters of Death Note. I gotta check it. Death Note too. Death Note. Let's see, Death Note and Demon Slayer. That's dope. I'm gonna check out those joints. And then Naruto. I gotta check that joint out. What was the other joint I used to watch? The Last Airbender. I feel like there's been so many iterations of The Last Airbender that it just kept messing it up. Like the movie was horrible. And then the cartoon seemed like it was pretty good. And I think they came out with some other thing. I heard there was like a video game of freaking of The Last Airbender that was pretty dope. That some people were telling me about. I don't know if it's on PS5 or if it's on Xbox, but I heard good things about it. But I don't know. That have you watched Chainsaw Man? Chainsaw Man. You know what? I have not watched Chainsaw Man, but I have seen it. It's the dude with the damn chainsaw coming out the middle of his face. That shit looks wild. I don't even like, you know how you see a thing and you kind of can begin to know what it is? Chainsaw Man, I don't know what that is. Matter of fact, let me write that down. So I'm gonna check out Chainsaw Man. Because that shit looks interesting. You know what? What was one joint that I watched that was really weird? I saw a joint where it was like there was some type of alien thing that was in a dude's hand, and it was like an eye or something. It would move around the person's body and give him like this enhanced power. That shit was weird. And then there was like a villain version of it walking around that it had to kill. I don't know what the hell that shit was called. Death Note. Death Note is short, and so you can finish it in a day. Oh, damn. Oh, Death Note is mad short. Okay, cool. That's good to know because some of these animes be like 8 years long, and you like, God damn. Yeah, okay. I'll check out Death Note. Death Note's a short one I can kind of get into and figure out. What other joints y'all talking about? Yes, Death Note. Okay. All right. I appreciate that. Appreciate the Rex. Well, shit, man. This has actually been my favorite character. Chainsaw Man is Miss. All right, I'll look out for whoever that person is, Miss Akuma. Okay. All right, cool. You guys have been amazing. This was a freaking good chat. I've been trying to do these lives and create conversation, man. You guys are amazing, man. I really appreciate everyone that showed up in this chat and having this conversation. I appreciate all of these recommendations. I'm gonna check these out. Tune in every Tuesday and Thursday, possibly. I've been going at 9 o'clock, jumping on at 8 or 9 o'clock. I usually kind of promote it, but follow, subscribe, and all of that. I'll keep doing these and dropping videos. I seriously appreciate every one of y'all that showed up and conversated and added to the chat. You guys are amazing. I'ma holler at y'all. I'm about to go cook some dinner and lay my ass down, but I appreciate y'all. Thank you so much. Peace.